Welcome to Farmers to Florists, the podcast serving the floral industry from seed to centerpiece. I'm Dr. Liz Fiedler Mergen, flower farmer, wedding florist, and owner of Sunny Mary Meadow, a flower farm and event venue I built in central Minnesota. This podcast makes local flowers easier to grow, easier to design with, and easier to sell. Each week, we'll talk about crop planning, recipe building, wholesale relationships, data-driven decisions, and how to build a floral business that doesn't burn you out. Yes, this podcast is a companion guide to Farmers to Florists platform at farmerstoflorist.com. But whether you use the tool or not, every episode is designed to give you practical systems and real insight you can apply immediately. If you believe the floral industry should be thriving, not scrambling, you're in the right place. Let's grow smarter. Hello, and welcome back to another episode of the Farmers to Florists platform. I'm excited to change things up a little bit. If you've gone back, I gave a lot of tips and helpful ways to sell to florists in general, just kind of foundational, educational episodes. But I want to change it up a little bit and show the real behind the scenes how I am using this platform, because I am one of those people that if you're watching from afar, there's a lot of things going on in my life, and I am kind of the director of a lot of different segments of my business. And I think that the best testimonial that I can give to Farmers to Florists is I created it because I have other things going on besides this business. And for me, a lot of my side businesses or other businesses are passion projects and hobbies and what I enjoy doing. We all don't want to work 24/7. So this is the platform that helps me not work 24/7 and be able to leave the farm occasionally. So right away, I'm going to get started with how I use the platform. So this week was a little bit different. Our flowers are not quite ready. Our tulips are just starting to bud up. My snapdragons have maybe, 4 sets of leaves on them, and they're starting to get a little tip. So they're probably still about 2 weeks out. My ranunculus, I just saw the first bud on one of them, the buplurum. Everything's still about 2 weeks out. And it's interesting because for me, in zone 4B here in Minnesota, I just built a brand new high tunnel with 2 heaters. So I turned those heaters on in February, around February 10th. The ground was not frozen in there when I turned them on, but just to warm up the soil a little bit, I turned them on and I set them to 40 degrees. So it basically only ran at night. During the day, it really doesn't run as long as it's sunny out because it's so well insulated. It's the really nice plastic. It's 2 layers. It's still pretty solid. So the heaters would run at night. So then I planted out there between February 10th and February 20th. I planted like all of my cool hardy annuals. I planted ranunculus, and I had started those in trays already, but I did the ranunculus, snapdragon plugs, feverfew, buplurum, sweet William, bells of Ireland, all of those cool hardy annuals. And it's interesting because they are taking significantly longer than if I planted those things in April outside. Normally those bloom within 9 or 8 weeks for me with snapdragons, and it's going to be more like 12 weeks. And I think it's, the daylight hours, how warm it's been, and it's just interesting to see how far can we push it? So I'm really excited. When I look at that crop planting date, I looked at that harvest window that I had planned on days of maturity of when it should be blooming. But now I can look back on it, the reports year to year, as I continue using this platform. Hey, when I plant snapdragons in February, when do they actually bloom? When I plant them in April, when do they actually bloom? And it's going to be different and unique for every single farmer. And eventually we'll have more of this information to share, like these that are grown under this condition, under this circumstance. That's usually how long they take in this area. I think it's going to be really unique, and I'm excited to have that. So that's how I've been utilizing the crop planner and just really adjusting when things will be blooming. I've started reaching out to florists. I think there are 9 that can view my inventory. We also are in the process of adding a wish list button. So now it's not just the stuff that's ready that florists can claim, but they can kind of get in line or view things for a farm. So for example, there is a farmer on May 30th, she should have poppies blooming. And I want some for a June 6th wedding. And so I can go in there and say, heads up, I know you haven't harvested these. I know you're not quite ready for a florist to claim them, but I want first dibs if they do turn out, is kind of the way we're planning on that wish list to be. So I'm excited for that. And then we also updated a change to the platform where once an order is placed or a message is sent between a farmer and florist or vice versa, there is an alert email sent. So you get an email alert saying, a florist placed an order, or your order is ready for pickup, or so-and-so messaged you. And so that way you're not just checking it. So I'm excited for that piece. And then as a florist, here is how I used it. This week, I have none of my own flowers, so I have to source from my wholesaler. They are growing the majority of the flowers in their greenhouse indoors, but it's from the wholesaler. And I try to use still Minnesota grown flowers and whatever that are still consistent with my vibe, but my customers want flowers. So we have a few things this weekend going on. Today is Wednesday. The order from the wholesale truck came today, and within the recipe guide I just put it for Saturday because that's when these events are. And I have a stem bar. So I have one stalk, one buplurum, two tulips, and the globe green dianthus, the green balls. I just think they're so cool. So it's just 5 stems. That's all the stem bar is for this shower. Their budget is $15 per person. It includes a small little tall bud vase, but it's going to be cute. It's petite, but I was very clear that, this is what it is. And it ends up being, if I check my crop planner, it ends up being $5.70 wholesale for those 5 stems for that little bud vase, which including the vase is like $2. I did go ahead and buy a bunch of those. So there are 70 of those. And I can tell that I did, because there's like 35 for each shower. So it ends up being $399. It ends up being $140 worth of vases. So right about, a 2-time markup. Not great, but also not a lot of work. And it's showers that are here. They're paying $500 to rent my venue. Now they're also doing a stem bar. And then something exciting is there are 2 brides that are getting married, and we contacted them because they each wanted something for a statement piece or photos or whatever. And so we decided together that they were going to share the flowers. So we have $1,000 budget worth of flowers to make a statement piece for them to take photos with, and then we'll put it back in the cooler between them. So I made the recipes for the stem bars, a general recipe for that statement piece. We had some anniversary flowers. And so Sydney was able to just glance at everything that needs to be made, especially, those stem bars. There's just when she showed up to process the flowers, it's not living in my brain. And so that's a really cool way. All of the custom orders for every single week. I think we're going to continue even the market bouquets, having a recipe on there. And it just keeps me in track to know the exact price of what things were. So that's how we're using it this week. I'm excited to share how we are using it next week, but it's going to be kind of a evolving thing. And if you are interested in joining, this is a podcast exclusive code. I'm not making a post on social media. Use code Liz for 50% off an annual plan. So an annual dual plan, you end up getting it for $20 a month. It averages out to. You get a full farmer account, a full florist account. Give it a chance. See how it works in your business. Join us for office hours. Tell us what you like, what you don't like, what you want us to change. We are very open to whatever feedback. We know that it's not perfect, but I'm excited for what it's doing for me and my business. And I know this week alone, it saved at least 2 hours for me and 2 hours for Sydney. So 4 hours of combined labor between the two of us. I definitely pay her more than that. When you look at that cost of, just trying to communicate, trying to figure out texting, trying to put things in a Google Doc, it's all in one place. So thank you. Thank you for listening to Farmers to Florists. If this episode gave you clarity or helped you think differently about local flowers, I'd love to have you join us. Visit farmerstoflorist.com to explore the platform or jump into live office hours. If you know a flower farmer or florist who's trying to make local easier, send this episode their way. We're on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Spotify, Apple, wherever you get your podcasts, and LinkedIn for some reason. And you'll find direct links to everything in the show notes. Let's build stronger systems together, stronger relationships, and a stronger floral industry. Thank you.